So with that, I'm going to hand over to Sean from JumpCloud, and Sean will talk us through, exactly what's happening around the JumpCloud announcement when it comes to Google Workspace. I know that this has been a hot topic on the community forum, lots of chats, lots of interest. The main reason why Sean's here, the reason why we hunted him down and found him in Amsterdam, was and the reason why we pulled the meeting back by half an hour was to accommodate Sean, and we appreciate Sean's time. But the reason was that the announcement from JumpCloud came out around Google Workspace, and there was a lot of chatter. Some people completely understood what JumpCloud was all about, but then there was a few individuals that didn't really know about JumpCloud. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to get one of the experts from JumpCloud in order to talk about not only JumpCloud itself, but also what does it mean from a Google Workspace perspective. So with that, I'm going to shut up for a change, and I'm going to hand over to Sean. So yeah, over to you, Sean.
Cheers. Thank you very much, Paul. Let me just check I can get up today's deck okay, and make sure that's sharing okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody pushing back by 30 minutes. Apologies for the slight delay. As Paul said, I'm currently in Amsterdam at an event, but really pleased to be able to join everybody on this as well. Given that we may not need the full hour, but if there's lots of questions, obviously we'll endeavor to answer them all at the end, but hopefully I can still get people done in a reasonable time to enjoy their Thursday evening as well. Here today to talk a bit about Google Workspace and JumpCloud. My name is Sean Gill. I lead our EMEA sales team here at JumpCloud. I'll share the slides afterwards, and that's my email. So if any questions do pop into your mind, at any point, feel free to reach out. Please feel free to ask them. If there's any follow-ups that we need to put together, here to help, here to support, and here to make sure you've got whatever it is that you need right now and put that in place. What I'm actually going to cover today. So for those of you who have no idea what we do here at JumpCloud, I'm hopefully going to speak a little bit about what JumpCloud actually does and introduce ourselves. I'll then talk a bit to the Google Workspace and JumpCloud partnership, a little bit around what the actual use cases are, or some of the use cases that you might be experiencing and that Google see us fitting into their environment right now. And then finally, a bit of a case study from a customer who's already gone through this journey and kindly enough was able to share that story at an event we did previously as well. I'll leave the Q&A for the end. I am running off one screen today, so I can't see the chat messages come in as they go through, but happy to answer as many questions as possible. If you do write them in the chat so you don't forget them, I'll make sure to get to them as we go through there as well. But hopefully that's a good agenda for today, and hopefully we'll all leave this session with a bit of a better knowledge about what Google Workspace and JumpCloud are trying to do together. So starting off then with a bit of an introduction to JumpCloud. Where JumpCloud comes from, the idea behind JumpCloud is fundamentally built on the idea that the way that we work is changing. So previously in the 90s, unfortunately I was a schoolboy back then, so I wasn't aware of that environment, but everybody went to the office. There was an Active Directory on-prem. Everyone was plugged in to, whatever, LAN server, etc., Ethernet cables. It was all in one office. If someone had a problem, they could go up to you directly. Everything was locked down to one environment. That world just doesn't exist anymore, right? People want to be able to work from anywhere. When they're able to work from anywhere, they want to be able to use the technology that they choose to use. And then for businesses, the vector of security threats has increased massively. And you've got to maintain that security policy, given that people now want to be able to work from anywhere and they want to be able to use whatever tools they choose. And it's this idea that really drives what JumpCloud is trying to achieve. We are trying to give you the ability to support people to work from anywhere with whatever technology they choose, but in a way that is totally safe and secure for your business. So the idea and the challenges that most people face because of this environment is a few things. So people often experience when trying to support this new way of working, it's very difficult to onboard and offboard. You need to onboard people to multiple SaaS tools. You need to pull information from multiple different systems. People want different types of devices. Doing that onboarding and then offboarding is increasingly difficult and cumbersome to do. IT environments are getting more and more complex. People want different tools, multitude of SaaS applications. It's difficult to manage and it's difficult to do as well. Trouble supporting remote work. Gone are the days, for some of you, maybe if you've got in office days, when someone could come over, they can show you their laptop and they can say something's wrong with it. And you can say, that's because you've done something wrong and installed dodgy software on this that's causing me a lot of headaches now. Instead, you've got to navigate through Slack, or they've been locked out, or they call you in a panic. So actually making sure you can troubleshoot in a remote world is also difficult. People now in most environments, in businesses across the world, have a mixture of devices. No longer is everyone using kind of a desktop Windows PC. There's Macs, there's Windows, there's Linux, there's mobile phones. There's constantly different versions of those as well that we need to put together and we need to manage as well. And finally, you're often being asked by auditors or just internally, how are we tracking all of this? What is our view of what's going on in a security environment? How do we report on this? How do we put this all together? It's this fundamental change in how we are working and how IT is expected to behave that drives some of these challenges that businesses are facing right now. That's where JumpCloud comes in. We are trying to solve those common problems, and we are trying to, as I said, give you this native way, or this easy way to manage your workers in a remote world where they have multiple tools to use and they want a lot of choice over how those put those tools together. So here at JumpCloud, we break this down into three main pillars that we support. And the first of those pillars is identity management. And what JumpCloud is JumpCloud is a fully cloud-based identity platform that can act as a standalone identity provider. So we can actually replace on-prem Active Directory. We can fully replace Microsoft Entra Azure Directory as well. We can stay in sync with a directory like Google Workspace or Okta, or we can even keep a sync between all of the different identity sources that you might want in place as well. So a really common use case that we see quite often for Google Workspace customers is they want to move towards Google Workspace, but an on-premise Active Directory or Entra Azure Directory is what's stopping them from being able to make that shift. Well, with JumpCloud in place, we can actually facilitate that move and move them towards a fully Google Workspace world with no Microsoft hangover. On top of being able to integrate all of these identities and keep them all in sync or replace the Microsoft stack, we can also integrate with any HR system. When we integrate with the HR system, what we're able to do is build what we call HR-driven identity. And this means with a trigger from the HR system, we can fully create an account in Google Workspace. We can push and automatically create that user, and then downstream push that user access to all the key resources they need. And that access portion is the second pillar of JumpCloud. So once we're controlling identity, we're then able to control the access to the key resources, whether that is to resources that don't support SSO through our password manager, whether that's to on-premise resources through our cloud LDAP service, whether that's to wireless resources like Wi-Fi networks or VPNs through our cloud radius resources, or whether that is to cloud applications through SSO and putting that in place there as well. Once we're managing access, we can also leverage our identity by bringing it all the way down to a device level. And what we mean by that is it means that users are using the same username and password to log into Google as they do to log into any resource that they might be using, as they do to log into any device that they choose to use. So one username and one password that's constantly being kept in sync, no matter what tool or no matter what access control users are trying to access or leverage at that time. We don't just bring the identity down to the device level. We act as a full MDM as well for Apple, Windows, Mac, Linux, and iOS devices, enforcing policies, patching, remote assist capabilities within that device as well. So you can really make sure that those devices are all being managed in one platform to the same standard. The nice thing about JumpCloud is because we control all of these three pillars, we can then start to enhance your SSO. So we can actually start to layer on conditional access policies on your key SaaS applications, stating things such as, if you want to access your GCP environment, you can only do that if you're from a managed JumpCloud device that has the correct security policies enforced, that has the up-to-date OS on the system, that has an EDR that you trust checking in and giving positive information. So allowing you to take that next step towards a zero trust access environment as well. Nicely, because we manage everything, it's really easy to understand exactly what is going on from the environment that you're existing in. So you're able to understand in real time all of the activity of the users and track that in an individual report. You're also able to track all of your admin activity and all of your admin's behavior as well in one single identifiable report as well. The last little bit, and it's here in a smaller thing, but it's certainly important as well, is we also do SaaS management. So not only from a cost perspective, so actually tracking how many of your users are using the tools that they've been provisioned to, so you can estimate the costs effectively as well, but also shadow IT discovery. So it's discovering those applications that are using your work domain that haven't been approved, that you either want to warn users not to use, or you want to move them away from or block them from using as well. So a very complete platform. And the idea here is to combine as many different IT operations or as many different operations that exist within IT into one single easy to use tool. What's the nice thing about this for businesses then as they come together, and what's been our story that we've been working with our customers is, instead of using this patchwork of tools, so tools for identity management, SSO, device management, password management, privilege access management, remote assist, SaaS management, MFA, combine all of this into one platform. You're going to get a more cost-effective solution. It's going to be more efficient for your teams to leverage this. And because you can enhance your security quickly and efficiently, you're going to get more secure at the same time as putting that in place. And I guess when we talk about this, this isn't something that's brand new. This isn't something that we haven't done, and this isn't something we're experienced with. You can see some of the names on the screen. Some of them you might recognize. If some of you have got young children, this is my favorite customer. You shouldn't have favorites, right? But Moonbug in the corner, they're the company that owns Coco Melon. If you've got young kids, you know what that is, and you know how that dominates your life. But 200,000 organizations are already leveraging JumpCloud. We've got people in 160 companies. We've got 950 employees. We aren't some new fly-by-night company that's come onto the scene. We're a well-established company that's been working and delivering this, and has already delivered this in a number of different environments. I can see all the questions flying in, and I've got the Q&A section at the end. I'm going to continue for now, but I promise we will get to them. But please keep asking them. I promise we will go through all of them today as well. So how does JumpCloud actually work with Google? And I guess this is the bit that particularly Google Workspace people want to find out more about and want to put together. So I don't think I need to tell this group, but it's really important to leverage how great Google Workspace is, right? I might be a bit biased because we use Google Workspace. I'm a huge Google Workspace fan. I want to turn down a job because they use the Microsoft stack. I just can't do it. It's just not in my nature to ever use that. I can't be searching Outlook for emails that don't exist. That's just not how I'm willing to live. So everything that you need is on Google Workspace, right? We know how powerful this platform is. We know how secure it is, the zero trust controls that are built in, the cloud native infrastructure, compliance and security. Google Workspace is an amazing platform. It has lots of potential. It has lots of features. And there will be customers that don't need to leverage JumpCloud alongside Google Workspace. Google Workspace will totally satisfy all their needs. However, why are Google launching this partnership with JumpCloud, and what are the gaps that we come in to do? And this is the best example I believe I can show of the Google Workspace and JumpCloud relationship. Google as a collaboration tool does all of these amazing things. It does all of these fantastic features and products as a best in breed, and it does have some crossover with JumpCloud. It can do some admin and security controls and role-based access controls. It can do some elements of identity management. It can do a very good job on Android MDM as well. However, Google Workspace is primarily a collaboration tool. It is not a like-for-like replacement for the likes of Entra, and it is not a detailed identity and access management tool, and it is not a full MDM for OSs that exist outside of Google Workspace. And it's this reason that Google is partnering with JumpCloud to support all of those edge use cases where Google Workspace isn't able to support customers. And particularly why they partnered with us is because, and I'm going to put my slides in the wrong order, the reason why they partnered with us particularly is because they want people to stop using Microsoft. And they want people to have that ability to easily move out of a Microsoft world and into that best of breed Google Workspace world. E3 and E5 licenses, Microsoft's collaboration suite doesn't compare to Google Workspace. But for people who are used to that Microsoft world and the complexity of some of those Microsoft products, JumpCloud, as you can see here, allows you to plug those gaps efficiently and securely, meaning that the blockers or the elements of Microsoft E3 or E5 that either had to remain in place or people are scared about moving away from in their shift to Google Workspace can now be eliminated by JumpCloud. And so it really allows us to build that message that between Google Workspace and JumpCloud, we are able to compete on a feature-by-feature basis. We are able to remove any dependencies that you might have on your existing Microsoft estate and get you into a Google Workspace world that is best of breed. And for customers and for everyone who uses Google Workspace, what is the benefit of that? Well, yes, if you're a partner, there is revenue generated, right, for the partners there. But what it means is this is better than working with Microsoft E3. It stops people moving towards Microsoft E3 if you're a partner, or if you're a business having to defend why you should stay on Google Workspace as well. It removes any legacy implication where people are on Google Workspace, but they have to keep an on-premise setup or they have to keep an Entra setup to manage identity. That can now totally be removed and you can live in a Google world as well. And finally, you can just get that best of breed experience of a tool that's natively integrated with Google Workspace that JumpCloud can leverage effectively. So the combination of both, as I said, is really why Google are working with us, is to give people that easy ability to move away from a Microsoft world, to get all of that existing Microsoft infrastructure out of their estate and get into the future, which is Google Workspace, Gemini, and all of the amazing things that it can do. Particularly the announcement you might have seen was around something that's being called the Work Transformation Set, WTS for short. And you may be hearing more about this and come together. Unfortunately, much to my chagrin, it's still not quite live in EMEA. It is coming very shortly, but it's already been live in the US for 6 months where they ran the trial period, and it's always gone live in APJ. You could really help us at JumpCloud out if you are really interested in this by emailing Google and asking for it as soon as possible because you want to explore it. That always helps, but it will be coming very, very shortly. The Work Transformation Set. So as I said, this has been formally announced now by Google, and it's something that's coming really, really soon. It's been in trial for North America for the last 6 months, and there's already several customers that are very large that have already signed up, that are already leveraging this JumpCloud and Google combination that's coming together. So as I said, it's coming to the Google control when you get it, so please put that together. What WTS is and what we put it together as is this is Google reselling Google Workspace and JumpCloud together as one single bundle. So this will be a Google product called the Work Transformation Set that Google will sell, and Google have announced that they will be selling now. And so essentially that slide that I showed you before of the Microsoft versus versus Google Workspace and JumpCloud, that Google Workspace and JumpCloud bundle will be available and will be sold by Google and is coming very shortly. So hopefully that gives you some background around why we partnered with Google, what Google's logic is about working with JumpCloud and how we fit together, and then what that announcement is about and what we're going to do going forward as well. A couple of use cases that are pretty common, and this is where we've been working with Google Workspace quite a lot over the last several years, but certainly as we roll out this WTS use case as well. The first is getting people off of Entra or Active Directory and just using Google Workspace. So here at JumpCloud, we've actually built our own tool. It's called the Active Directory Migration Unit. And that is a pre-built tool that allows people to migrate their users off of Active Directory into JumpCloud. And then with Google Workspace, we already have a native integration that can be set up in a couple of clicks. So actually a very common use case we are seeing are people who are faced with this legacy infrastructure. They know they want to get rid of it. They don't want to leverage it anymore. They didn't have a way to do this previously. Well, now with JumpCloud, they can actually do that, and they can solidify it in a 100% Google world. So something that you might be experiencing yourself, or you might be speaking to people who are experiencing this, or it might be what's holding them back from moving to Workspace. Now with JumpCloud, they've got the ability to do that. As I said there, we built this Active Directory migration unit. We don't only do this migration for users, we also do this migration for bound devices as well. So something that you might hear quite a lot is that people have, particularly their Windows devices, joined to their Active Directory. And the thought of migrating those across and moving towards a Google Workspace world is particularly scary. Well, as I said, we've got our Active Directory migration unit. We not only can migrate users out of Active Directory, we can migrate devices out of Active Directory as well, and then manage that device for them. The nice thing about this, again, is that when we move the device out of Active Directory, we can keep the JumpCloud identity in sync with the Google Workspace identity, in sync with the device. So that now means that instead of having that old Active Directory identity on the device, you can now have your Google Workspace identity on the device. So you're essentially replicating that feeling and setup that you had in your Microsoft world, now in a 100% cloud-based Google world. So again, just giving people that feeling and giving people the same experience they've had before, but now in a fully Google world as well. Something that we do quite a lot as well alongside this is people want to move to Google Workspace. They love Google Workspace. They think it's a fantastic tool, but they tell you that they have got, Apple devices, they've got Windows devices, they've got a large estate, they need to manage them all. They want to find a nice way of doing this and connecting it all back to Workspace. Well, that's something that JumpCloud can do as well. We can centralize all of your devices into one platform. We can manage all of those devices in one place, patch them, install software, enforce policies, etc. And as I said, we can then attach those devices and the local user accounts back to the Google Workspace identity as well. So, again, giving people that power to just centralize everything and build around that star of Google as the major platform and major North Star within their IT environments. This is the last case study. And, I'm a big believer. I started my life, I started my career as a maths teacher. So I've changed my tune now from my old days. But it's always good to copy when people are doing things well. So I've actually just taken these slides directly from the customer who spoke at an event of ours in Stockholm recently. So I didn't even build these slides. These are things the customers built themselves, and I'm repurposing them now to show the power of JumpCloud and show what we've done here before. So the company we're talking about is a company called Situ. Please go and look them up. They're a really interesting company based out of Stockholm. They're growing really quickly. They've already grown 100 users in the last year. They're currently around 200, and they plan to double in size over the next year as well. They're an e-commerce company. They're providing points of service, point of sale solutions, and unified commerce platforms for businesses. And they're really trying to make sure that they're creating those positive shopping experiences for retailers every time, everywhere, and putting that together. One of the nice things I think about Situ in particular is they are a member of this Mac Alliance. As a business, they are committed to being Mac Alliance certified. Some of you may be aware of this. I only learned about it when I dealt with Situ, but essentially what that stands for is microservices, API first, cloud native SaaS, and headless technology as well. And so they're really trying to make sure that every piece of technology they leverage is able to be deployed quickly in a microservice environment. It's all API first, it's all cloud native, and that it's all future-proof, that they can bring in whatever technologies they need on top of that to advance the business. So a really forward-thinking technology team here that's leveraging the power. So when they came to speak with us, they were on a purely Microsoft environment. They had no Google Workspace, they had no JumpCloud, they just had a Microsoft environment. And when they actually went out to their users, they found that 80% of users were struggling daily to find information. They found that users weren't able to collaborate effectively. They found that no one was using SharePoint. They weren't using Teams. They were actually using Slack and Dropbox as their tools for that as well. Administration nightmare. This is actually something I wasn't aware of. If you go on Microsoft's official page, they have over 270 listed admin portal and views that you can access for that. And as you can see here, too many admin panels, too little control. And as part of this Mac Alliance, they wanted the flexibility to run their systems on their terms. And so having done that, having taken the change and having experienced what their users were, they made the decision to move towards Google Workspace and JumpCloud to totally remove Microsoft their estate and move towards a best-in-breed forward-looking solution. So actually, how long did this take? And this is for 200 users. So from the day they got the green light to start the project, it took 3 months to do an entire removal of Microsoft, of all E5 licenses, and be in a JumpCloud and Google Workspace environment totally. The final actual deployment was 1 weekend. For the entire migration testing and rollout, they managed to get that done. And we work with a partner there as well. So Google Workspace partners, we have many of them. Often most of them are enabled on JumpCloud as well. So partners who are out there as well are able to provide these services to help with the migration and put those in front. And you can see the one that they work with, they're named. Other partners are available, right? For them, they found it really easy to get this done. They managed to get across everything, as I said, within 3 months from initial green light on the project, full completion and full live across the entire business. The hardest bit for them was change management, of course. As we know, there's nothing more difficult to deal with than users, but even the users were pleased with how that came across and how that got put together. And for them, what are the benefits? So moving in that Microsoft world, making it easy. Well, actually, for the administrators, they've now got swift administration, they've got powerful APIs, and they're able to consolidate all of their assets into JumpCloud. They've now got the powerful platforms of Google Workspace and JumpCloud working seamlessly together, so they're able to leverage that as well. It's a seamless integration. Users are perfectly synced between JumpCloud and Google Workspace. No more issues that they have with their Microsoft environment. Their users are happy. They're using a best-of-breed solution. They're leveraging Password Manager in JumpCloud. They don't use Teams, and also they're using the collaborational power of Google Workspace as well, and they're moving forward as well. And finally, they've actually been able to get more secure because of the power around JumpCloud's platform. They're able to put more of that in place. And for them, there's more to come. So one of the nice things about JumpCloud, as I said, it's a complete platform. So for them, they've already got plans now to roll this out and to enhance what they had in the Microsoft estate with more products. So SaaS management, finding that shadow IT and assessing their costs, automated access requests, workflow automation, Google Flows. I'm sure you guys know about that. I'm super excited to see that in practice and get my hands on it myself. Deepening the vendor partnership between Google and JumpCloud, and also innovation. So making sure that they can innovate with both of us and bring that together and that as well. This is their line. I'm going to steal it. I really like it. Just a great strategic alliance between two cloud powerhouses. JumpCloud is built natively on the cloud. Workspace is the best cloud-based collaboration tool there is. This is not a hodgepodge 30-year-old Entra built on top of AD with SharePoint, etc. These are two cloud-native powerhouses that seamlessly combine to support what's going on there as well. Hopefully, that was a lot of information. I got through that in 30 minutes. That leaves 30 minutes for questions. I'm going to start sharing my slides so that I can see all the questions again, and I can start working through the chat. Thank you for those who've been piling them in and keep answering them. I'll go to the top and try and answer as many of them as I can. Chuck, thank you for the question. Shadow IT, does that include Shadow AI usage? Yes, it does include that as well. I can see Chris has answered that. We can detect Shadow IT. We can put blocks across that as banners to direct people to Gemini and the right solutions, or we can do full blocking there as well. As a parent, you have a fair child. Yes, that's. Can we get access to the slide deck? Yes, I will share the slide deck following this meeting, so everybody will have access. So more than happy to put that as well. How does this impact Google Cloud PW+1? I'm sorry on my Google acronyms, Graham and Anna Philippe +1 that as well. GCPW, can anyone give me the acronym on that? There's a lot of Google acronyms. Sorry, I'm not a Google acronym expert. Google Credential Provider for Windows Plus. Thank you very much, Mikhail. Google Credential Provider Windows, no plus. Thank you, correcting me there. Learning something new every day, right? Transparently, I don't want to give anyone any incorrect information. That's the first time I've come across that Google product within the Google world, right? My world is JumpCloud, and I have to look that up and put that together. What I would say, and this is something that I would say wherever there's some crossover, JumpCloud can replace it, and JumpCloud can bring that together. Where there is some crossover with some of the things that existing Google products can already do, there may be that some clients don't need JumpCloud, some customers will need JumpCloud. But I do think by the fact that Google are announcing this partnership, there's an admission by Google that we can plug some of the gaps that aren't able to satisfy for customers in those use cases. I'm sorry that's not a great answer. Please give me some chance to do some research, and I'm more than happy to share that. Fintan might be coming to save me, which is always good. Fintan.
Yeah. Hey Sean, good to see a great presentation. Yeah, I mean, just as a Google partner and JumpCloud partner, I would say that a customer wouldn't be using that tool, the GCPW one. It's a credential manager that allows you to sort of have sign in for Windows devices, Windows 10, Windows 11 devices, using your Google account, which is great. And I can remember at the time, partners were excited about it. Google haven't really progressed it that much, I would say. I don't know if other people would agree with me there. Yeah, it hasn't really. Philippe's agreeing with me there. They haven't really progressed it that much, which was unfortunate. And it feels to me they've gone a different direction, which is partnering with JumpCloud. That was a couple of years ago when they launched that. I remember actually it was over COVID. That's how long ago. And certainly we would not be using it if we were setting up a customer on JumpCloud. JumpCloud would be the identity provider and the endpoint management piece as well. So that tool would just become obsolete. Do you know what I mean? In my mind. So that's my 2 cents on it. Anyway.
Thank you, Fintan. Saving me there, right? But I've learned something new, which is always important. That was all the questions in the chat. There's still time. If there are any questions that people want to ask in the chat or of me, happy to answer them.
There's more in the Q&A actually.
More in the Q&A. Sorry, right.
Yeah, I'm really into the little waffle and the Q&A section.
Killing me.
While Sean just digs those questions out, I'm just going to say bye-bye to the people on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is always our kind of broadcast mechanism. We broadcast there. We don't broadcast everything to LinkedIn. So if you want to get involved, if you want to meet people like Fintan, like Andy, like Christian, like James, from all the kind of partner community and customers, join in to the community, and you'll be invited to these chats. Just like to say before we get into deep dive Q&A, next month on the 27th, we've got Mikhail. He's going to be leading the session, and then in December, we're not quite sure what's going to happen. We've had conversations with certain people who've been quite vocal on this particular meeting. Hopefully they will come up with some amazing ideas to finish off the year of the community. So with that, we'll say goodbye to LinkedIn, and hand to on again. So
sorry, I found the further questions, guys, which is good. I knew they were coming in. I knew there was more. So when using JumpCloud Access, does previous SSO configurations have to be set up again? If you wish to switch towards JumpCloud SSO and JumpCloud as the access provider, then yes, you will need to reconfigure them to point to JumpCloud as a source of identity. It is worth saying here, and I will clarify this again, the purpose of JumpCloud is to be an open directory platform. So if you have individuals who have set up Google single sign-on and they wish to keep Google as that source of single sign-on, that's totally fine. JumpCloud can operate in that world. We don't have to take over as a source of access there as well. So it's totally up to the user's discretion or the IT admin's discretion about how they leverage it. But if you do want JumpCloud, then it'll have to be reconfigured with how that's put together. I know, Jonas, is this related to this topic or another topic? I'm happy to answer it if it's based on this topic.
It is related to this topic. Can they coexist, the two different SSO in mind?
They can coexist, but not on. Yes is the overarching answer, right? But it's going to depend on the application, and it's going to depend on how you set it up. From a security perspective, we wouldn't recommend that. So we would recommend that you always pick one as a source of identity and you lock it down to that. Depending on the application, there is the ability to do that. We would recommend, though, that you choose one source of identity and stick with that just for ease.
I think as well, the fact that you guys can kind of sync with Microsoft, sync with Google and things like that from a transition standpoint, as Chuck said, good said, from a transition standpoint, it's also very valuable from a customer moving from one identity provider to another. So.
Yeah, I think that's, thank you, Fintan. Fintan, you saved me today, Fintan, right? That's, they're going to accuse us of collusion between the Irish guys, right? But
those fellas with similar Irish names.
Yeah. The next question, thank you, Duncan. Assume that the SSO tax still applies on external apps where skim SSO is only available on enterprise plans. Does JumpCloud have a way to avoid that? Unfortunately, Duncan, yes, we can't avoid what the applications themselves charge on the SSO tax. The way we have around that in JumpCloud is the fact that we have our password manager. Now, what we do here at JumpCloud for SSO is we provide a single pane of glass portal, and we actually allow you to place bookmark URL links within that single pane of glass as well. So it appears the same as an SSO enterprise app in the user's single pane of glass view. Then when they go to click on that single pane of glass, it takes them to a login page. And then you can leverage JumpCloud's inbuilt password manager so they can log in with the password manager in a secure environment as well. The couple of nice things that JumpCloud can leverage to keep you secure on that is JumpCloud's password manager is attached back to the JumpCloud identity. So what this means is that when we suspend the identity in JumpCloud, it suspends access to the password manager, which means it can then, the user can no longer leverage the password manager to log into those applications. And you can hide those passwords as well from the user as you go forward. So it does give you that degree of security control that when you offboard a user, they're offboarded immediately from their password manager as well. And they're no longer able to access those applications leveraging the password manager going forward. But unfortunately, SSO tax, cloud-based providers, we don't have a good solution for that yet. Hopefully we come up with them. For reporting, how is it set up? Is there something ready to launch the admin can lean on before finding their footing? So I would say, and give a simple answer, right? It's automatically already set up. So we automatically have all of the events, all of the reports, and everything built out in JumpCloud. You can filter by all of them. You can filter by admin. You can filter by user. You can filter by event type. All major event types and all major reports are already built. All you have to do is search what you're looking for within that as well and produce that information that you can put in JumpCloud. In terms of that, all of that information as well, and I can see you've raised the hand again, Mikhail, but I will get to you. You can also export all of this via API. So if you do want to export this into a SIEM or anything that's more complex or want to build your own, you can do that by API, or you can download this as Excel file as well on top of that. We're also, and I'm going to preempt myself, but I know it's coming, we're also building in natural language queries as well as part of our product updates. So soon you'll actually be able to just type in, show me the last 4 failed SSO login attempts, please, in my environment, and it'll pull it up for you automatically. So we are getting to that stage as well as we go forward. But Mikhail, I know you got a question. What can I expand on?
Yeah, no, I just add some granularity here. So in terms of dashboards, so you haven't already set dashboard because people are kind of used to have a dashboard for a scenario. You can jump in and then set the filter there instead of just trying to find all the filters in one go. And of course, natural language prompts are great. We're getting really good at using them. But again, it would be nice to have a link and click. Okay, so show me the following cases of the following topic for the last 48 hours, for example. Do you have anything like that ready in the setup, or?
So you can do that. It would just be a case of the report drop down. It will give you the list of all the event types. You pick it from a drop down, the event type you want to look at, set the time period you want to look at from a drop down, and it will produce all of that for you. It would still be in a report format rather than a dashboard, but it would just be a case of simply click, drop down appears, click, drop down appears, select what you want, and you can go from there. So that's how it would appear in JumpCloud.
Thanks, Fintan. I will have a look at that university thing.
Can you give us some quotes about how cost efficient this is? Yes, well, hopefully I can, and I can put that together and do that. So JumpCloud's pricing, we do have some public pricing available as well. Something that I would say about JumpCloud is that we obviously have a very all-encompassing platform. For every single feature on JumpCloud, for absolutely every element of the platform, the top end list price paid on a month-by-month bill is $27 per user per month. And that's for absolutely everything, right? On a month-to-month, no commit bill. That's as expensive as it can possibly get if you go to our website today and buy it for one user with no contractual commitment beyond this month right now. Obviously, then as we move larger customers or different elements, there's obviously cost reductions and savings if people commit contract terms or do that as well. But also on top of that, you're actually able to cut up the JumpCloud platform based on exactly what your needs are. So if you only need device management, you only need to purchase device management from JumpCloud. If you want everything, you can purchase everything. If you only want identity, you can only purchase identity. So you can be very cost effective with how we use it right now. In terms of how we fit this together, and in terms from a cost environment, Google Workspace and JumpCloud together, on the estimates we've done and the work that we've done, you're looking at a TCO saving of around 6.3 times X what people are spending on an equivalent environment with multiple tools. It is dependent on a customer by customer basis, but I would say that we are very price competitive, and our system, certainly when you're removing 2 or 3 tools to pay for JumpCloud, is very price competitive and very financially viable for businesses who are looking to save money and put that in place. So with the pricing, it's kind of a follow-on there. Highlight feature gating. Its security features are only available for the higher tiers. If you go to our website, all of our tiering is public available as well. Some of the major features are only available in our highest packages. However, every single element of JumpCloud, as I said, can be constructed into a customized package. So if you want just device management, but you want asset management as one additional feature, you can just add that as an add-on into your feature as well to get that in place. So again, trying to be as flexible and as accommodating of what customers are looking for as well. I'll send this out after the call and resources. As I said, different license type. It's all on our website. It's all public. You can also see that as well. If Google are selling JumpCloud direct, are they also providing consulting support services to implement, or are they coming back to partner first delivery? So I think on both of these, that would be a question for Google, not for myself, right? How they imagine this. From a JumpCloud perspective, I can speak. We do have our own services team that we like to deliver with, but when we are doing Google Workspace and JumpCloud together, we like to rely on partners to do that delivery. Partners have the experience of the projects of both products. They have the trust of customers, and they often have the ability to understand how the change management fits together as well. So for us at JumpCloud, our preferred method is that the partners come together. Unfortunately, I can't speak to Google's plan and how they'll approach that, but definitely something to bring up with them as they roll this out and as they put that together. I can see we have different license SKUs? Yes, we do. I can share the link on the website after that as well. Is mixed licensing a possibility in the same environment? Say half of the company under the highest SKU and the other half under a lower SKU. If possible, are there any minimum requirements, example, amounts of users? Is mixed licensing possible? It's not something that we do as standard, but it is something that we accommodate. We are here, again, I sound like a kind of broken record, but I do want to be clear. We are here to be a company that is valuable and a partner for the people that we work with. So if people have Google Workspace environments that are mixed and they have frontline worker licenses and maybe enterprise tier licenses because of the nature of their business, we will match that and accommodate that to make sure that it's the right solution for customers to maximize their value and use of JumpCloud. So there's no minimum user requirements. We would have to do that on a bespoke basis, which would mean obviously getting in touch with us, but we are here to help. We're here to support. We're here to make sure that customers leverage JumpCloud in the best possible way. So hopefully that answers it. I think I've also got through all of the Q&As there. I don't know if there's any other back in the main chat that I can answer, but if there is, we can do that. Fintan, thank you. JumpCloud does have a great training university, which is great, and you can sign up for that online, and we can support you with that as well. And yeah, as with all of these things, please don't be shy to reach out to anybody at JumpCloud. We're here to talk. We're here to provide demos, provide information. We have a plethora of university courses and information online, and I'm always happy to speak, answer questions. And if I can't answer it, I will find the person who can, which is the most important thing, right? So yeah, if there's any other questions, happy to answer them. We've still got 15 minutes.
I can also confirm that JumpCloud are very easy to work with. So. You can give me that backhander later, Paul. Sean.
I was going to say, it's like a magician, right? You planted you in the audience.
I need a volunteer. No, but I mean, you guys are always flexible with customers and those kind of requirements you were talking about, mixed licensing, things like that. You always work hard to make sure it works for the customers.
I can see one more. Does JumpCloud offer any device security, example, anti-malware, etc.? Transparently, we don't offer anything like that. To give the context there as well, that isn't something that JumpCloud will go into. There is amazing products right now on the market, right, who do a way better job. They're amazing products, right? You can take your pick. You all know the names that put that together. The way we want to interact is leveraging those tools and those source providers. How do we get that information into JumpCloud to make decisions? For example, EDRs, etc. Can they inform how we provision access? That's something that we've got coming very shortly to the platform, which is that. And again, we also want to be agnostic, so people can choose whatever software they want, and that'll interact with JumpCloud correctly. So we don't provide it, and transparently, it's something that will lead to the best of breed providers. But what we are doing is we want to interact with each of those so that we can use their information to influence JumpCloud and how we provision access as well. So hopefully that answers your question.
Fantastic. Okay, Sean, thank you very much. That was probably one of the most well-attended sessions that we've had, and that just goes to show, the fact that it was a massive buzz in the community, and we brought you pretty soon after that whole announcement. And so, Chris, I'd like to thank you for facilitating all of this, and Sean, just for finding the time when you're in Amsterdam. I know there's plenty of things I'd rather be doing if I was in Amsterdam than speaking to a load of techies. And
well, I'm here for a Google Workspace meeting. So the best thing to do in Amsterdam is attend a talk about Google Workspace. Absolutely. So that's what I'm up to anyway for today.
Okay, so if there's no more questions, we can give everybody a few minutes back of their time. So appreciate your time, everybody.